Now, the family of the 15-year-old Bristol girl who may have travelled to Syria have appealed for her return. Yusra Hussain flew to Turkey last week with another teenager from London, according to police, and it's feared she may have been attracted by images of the fighting in Syria and Iraq and gone there for some reason. Sara Khan is director and co-founder of Inspire, a human rights organisation that tries to fight extremism. Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you come across other similar cases involving girls of this kind of age?
Unfortunately, the case of Yusra Hussain is one where she has followed in the footsteps of around 60 other British young Muslim girls who've also left the UK, betrayed their parents in effect, and have gone off to join the Islamic State in the last few months. And
what is the common thread in the background of these girls, their age, their experience, that has produced this terribly dangerous decision that they've taken?
It's a very complex number of factors and reasons, and I think four of the main key reasons are, firstly, an ideological narrative based on a very distorted, and I'd even argue a perverted reading of Islam to justify violence and hatred. Extremists, for example, will argue that young girls like Yusra, young men even, they need to pledge their allegiance to the Caliph, so they need to pledge their allegiance to Baghdadi, they must come and join the Islamic State, it's an obligation upon Muslims, even if it means rejecting your parents. So that kind of distorted understanding of religion.
Which they're getting, presumably, just to interrupt, but it's an important point, I mean, are they getting this online rather than in mosques?
It's online, it's even within communities itself where you have preachers kind of promoting that narrative. With regards to mosques, it's more of an issue of where they might not necessarily be promoting that kind of view, but they're not certainly countering it either, so it's problematic that way. I mean, three other quick reasons. Yes. The second reason is actually a political disconnect of what I call this 9/11 generation. Women like Yusra have grown up in a post-9/11 world where they're constantly under the spotlight of suspicion, where they've experienced anti-Muslim hatred. Particularly, we know that young Muslim women who wear the hijab, they're more likely to experience anti-Muslim attacks. Things like that only serves to alienate young women, and that's exactly what extremists like ISIS and others do, to exploit their vulnerabilities, their grievances, and say, come and join the Islamic State, we will protect your rights. The third reason is what I call the patriarchy problem, where you have young Muslim women in our country who are growing up in deeply conservative Muslim communities, where they are often sidelined by mosques, they lack female role models, and where preachers themselves are promoting the view that your role is within the home, you don't have a role in public life. It's not that much of a big jump then to go from that view to what ISIS is saying, which is to come and become a jihadi wife. And that's the fourth reason, actually, that what extremists do, like ISIS, is to young men they say, look, to be a man, a jihadi is the most ultimate form of masculinity that you can follow. But for women, what they say is, the most honourable thing to do is to become a jihadi wife and to die and to be married to a jihadi. That's the most honourable thing to do. So you can see how a number of these different factors can come together and sway and almost brainwash young women to leaving the UK to join IS.
Sara Khan from Inspire.